Howdy Campers, welcome to Camp Monster Masquerade Camp. I'm your Camp Counselor Fae.
And I'm your Camp Counselor Mint. Is that how you introduced yourself whenever you were an actual camp counselor?
It's a lot more like trying to get them to pay attention to you. So a lot of like, if you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, quack 3 times.
Quack!
And then you know which ones. Yeah. and then you know which ones are paying attention.
That's funny.
I hope you all are ready for the camping festivities. We're going to make friendship bracelets. We're going to have terrible eggs. I'm already bit up by ants, and
we got some mosquitoes. It's hot outside.
Yep, you'll just have to get used to it.
S'mores, we got those.
And we'll have a scary movie night where we'll watch The Final Girls, 2015's The Final Girls, but not Final Girl, which was also released in 2015 and also stars Tyler Shields. No, this is the, would you call it like a parody?
It's kind of a parody dark comedy. Yeah, I would call it that.
Okay. It's a comedy horror movie. Is directed by Todd Strauss Schulson, who I looked at his IMDb, and the only other credit I could see was the Christmas Harold and Kumar movie, which makes a lot of sense.
Oh no!
It was also written by M.A. Fortin and Joshua John Miller, who is the son of Jason Miller, who is an actor who was in the original Exorcist movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So a lot of the plot for this movie is like kind of based off of his own relationship with his dad, because his dad also passed away, and so he like directly relates to the main character.
I was reading about that.
This is a movie that takes place in a movie that is essentially Friday the 13th. And it stars the girl from American Horror Story, who I can't remember the name of. It's like Tessa Farmiga. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
This was a movie that you had recommended, and I had like heard about but never seen before.
It's funny because the first time I watched this movie, it was like, we sat down to watch it to make fun of it. Like, we thought it was going to be really bad, but then it ended up being like kind of wholesome and endearing. So we were like, okay, never mind. Like, not a bad movie.
Because we have established that you do not like the Friday the 13th movies.
No, they're so boring. And I don't like camp horror movies because, like, I don't know. There's a lot of people running around with their boobies out. I don't like watching teenagers have sex. Like, that's what it comes down to, right? Like, that's why I don't like, what's that movie that everyone suggests? Like, they claim it's a lesbian movie, but I don't think it really is. With the hot girl, and she becomes like
Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, okay, Jennifer's Body. Yeah.
I was trying to think, because I know you also don't like It Follows, which is pretty sex heavy too.
Yeah, and that one I just don't like because I was bored.
Yes.
That
one's interesting, but the pacing is slow in some parts.
But no, like Jennifer's Body, stuff like that, I'm just like, I don't want to watch teens have sex. I just don't want to. If they were adults, then it'd be totally different. But it's always teenagers, and I'm like, no.
I would go to an adult summer camp.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Sure.
I would not go outside. If there's AC, I'll go to an adult summer camp.
You'd be the person who's like hanging out in the nurse's station the entire time.
Yeah. Give me a cup of water and like a lollipop.
a little pack of applesauce and you're good to go.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, this movie is about a group of friends who find themselves trapped in a Friday the 13th movie that the main character's mom starred in. Her mom, like, passes away in a car crash within the first, like, 10 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And even from the get-go, like, their relationship is very sweet.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the one thing that, like, really carries this movie.
Definitely does.
Because it definitely could have been a lot worse, I feel
right?
like.
At the beginning, it feels like it's going to be bad. Like, you're like, oh, man, I don't care about teenage romance movie. I don't want to watch this. But then it very much redeems itself.
Yeah. Did you know that this movie was filmed in Louisiana?
No. Maybe that's why I was drawn to it. I have always drawn to things in Louisiana. Maybe I should just live there if it wasn't so humid.
Right. Yeah, it was filmed over the span of a month in 2014. They'd written the script and then, like, were sitting on it forever because I think Fox had it initially and they were like, hey, we really like this script that you have, but we want to remove, like, the parent relationship, like, themes in it and just make it more stereotypical slasher and a little bit funny.
Would have been bad.
Yeah, and John Miller was like, please don't do this. Like, I would, like, this is my story. Like, it's essentially about my dad. Like, I need it to be this thing specifically. And so eventually I think they passed on it and it got picked up by another studio. Oh, I have it backwards. So initially, New Line Cinema had it. And I think they're the ones who did Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what it was.
Oh.
Okay.
And they were like, just take out the parent. We don't care.
Yeah. They were like, we don't want this to be emotional.
But that's what makes it so good.
Yeah. And so, like, he was literally, there's a quote where he was talking about, like, watching his dad in The Exorcist. And he was like, there's something haunting, strange, confusing, and a little bit unnatural to see your parent constantly die in a film. But it's something that becomes iconic. And we tried to deconstruct what the effects of that would be and see what it would be like if you had a second chance. But that second chance was in the movie.
Aw, that makes the movie even better, honestly, just knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's so sweet. It's, like, kind of sad, and it's also, like, I think maybe that's why the movie is so endearing, because he was literally like, here's how I dealt with my grief in movie form.
Yeah. No, I think that definitely helped it. It's weird because, like, the writing on this movie is pretty solid, but then the movie itself relies, like, pretty heavily on improv. Like, most of its stars are improv comedians.
Mm-hmm. Whenever they get in the movie, especially.
Yeah. They have Adam Devine, who I think you said just has, like, the most punch me face.
He has the most punchable face. He's probably a nice guy, but anytime I see him in anything, I just want to deck him. And not in, like, a romantic way like Louise does in Bob's Burgers, but in, like, a just shut up. And his character is like that in this movie. Like, he's even worse. It doubles down. And I'm like, I hate this man.
There's a part where he makes a homophobic remark and just gets absolutely decked. And
yeah, it's great. That was a good moment.
It also stars Tomich. Wow, that was not how that name goes.
Tomich!
It also co-stars Thomas Middleditch, who is a creep in real life, but this was before people found out about that. Fuck Thomas Middleditch.
Why are men, you know?
I don't know.
Why they gotta do that?
Would you like to know a fun fact?
I would always like to know a fun fact.
So we're talking about Adam Devine.
Mm-hmm.
He met his now wife, Chloe Bridges, who played the badass Paula.
Oh my god.
So he met her on the plane ride over to this movie.
What?
And he didn't know who she was. So she was, like, talking to him about the movie, and he was just, like, super confused, but, like, this person seems really nice. And so they talked, like, the entire time that they flew over, and then they got on set, and he was like, oh, I understand now.
That's so funny. Is he a himbo in real life?
I feel like he might.
I feel like he
yeah.
might just be a himbo.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's so cute, though. She
It's
is
very
really
cute.
pretty.
Mm-hmm. She's not in the movie for very long,
No.
but but even just like the outtakes between the two of them together, like in retrospect, is very cute. Cause,
That is cute. Oh, that was like when they were getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm. They're having a real good time. I know I'm going heavy on the pre-production stuff, like from the get-go, but
Hey, that's fun.
in talking about the writing again, one of the things that they initially had in mind is they wanted to go for an R rating. And I don't know if that was so they could like add more gore or if it was like so they could say fuck more.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to keep that like mother-daughter storyline, he accepted a PG-13 rating.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then the movie, after it was finished with production, premiered at South by Southwest.
Oh.
And Tysa, who we mentioned, was in a whole lot of the American Horror Story
I like
series.
her. She's one of my favorites, honestly, in American Horror Story.
She does really good. She was also in We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which is a super good movie. It's an adaptation of a Shelley Jackson book.
Oh, yeah. I think I have that book from you on my shelf.
Yeah, you do.
I need to read it. I'm the worst about reading things. I'm like, here are my books. And then I don't read them.
It was very good. She had 3 movies premiere at South by Southwest in 2015.
Dang. That was her year.
She was busy.
Yeah. That's really cool, though. I think she is a good actress. I would like to see her in more things.
Mm-hmm. Another fun fact. So I think when you watch this movie, your initial thought, and I even said it earlier, is that this is like a play on Friday the 13th, right? It's actually based on another horror movie that is set on a summer camp that is called The Burning. It's pretty much like note for note about a killer who has a prank gone wrong that leaves him with a bunch of burns, and then he goes on a killing spree as an adult.
1981.
Yeah. So literally the exact same.
That's really cool.
Should we get into the like movie part?
Yeah, we can talk about the movie part.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Yeah.
It starts out with the daughter and the mother. They're in the car and they're like just having a normal mother-daughter conversation, finances, blah, blah. Her mom seems to be like struggling actress because everyone just typecasts her because of being in the movie that she was in. Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh, you're from that one movie. And like, they don't want to take her seriously. So finances are tight. And they're, the daughter, I think she like knocks over some papers or something while they're driving. Or no, she knocks over a drink onto papers or her headshots. Mm-hmm. And the mom's like, those are expensive, and like looks down, and then they get like deboned. Yeah. And it's really sad. Mm-hmm. Because that means like the last thing she said to her was, like, those are expensive, and like just sad.
Mm-hmm. And they were singing a song together.
Oh yeah, they were singing a song together.
You mentioned that you were a big fan of the actress who plays the mom, right?
Yeah, I could not remember what I saw her in though. I need to look it up again. I think she's in that one. She's in 27 Dresses. Yeah, that's what I know her from. She's like the evil sister that's getting married in 27 Dresses. She's also in like Watchmen and a bunch of other stuff.
I've definitely seen her face before.
Yeah.
It looks very familiar.
I've watched 27 Dresses a lot. I don't like movies like that often, but I do like that one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's a really good actress.
Oh, I forgot about that. She played Debbie Harry in CBGB. Just a very good
CBGB.
Yeah, it's a like biographical drama movie about like the punk scene in New York. It has Alan Rickman in it. He plays like the club owner.
Nice.
It's super good.
Nice. Yeah, she's a good actress. I like her.
After her mom passes or dies in the car crash, Max, the main character, is very sad, understandably.
Yeah, she has depression.
And I think I can't tell. Are they high school students?
I think They're high school or very early college.
Maybe.
I
They
think
seem
they're- I
they
think
seem
they're,
older
like,
to me.
I feel like they're like 1920.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't seem like high schoolers, but I don't know if it's because they're cast that way or what.
Mm-hmm.
But they could easily be like 20 years old.
Yeah.
But the way that they act a bit is kind of childish, so I don't think they're any older than like 21.
Okay, that tracks.
That's what I would think. I could be totally wrong, but like the way that the one girl acts about her ex-boyfriend, because now he's like, that's the part that I was like so iffy on at the beginning, because there's this boy and he has a crush on the main girl, and then she kind of has a crush on him, and they're like, oh, crushes, and then his ex shows up and is like really cringy.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know. But he's really sweet. Protect him. He's like so nice. He's just like, are you okay? You know?
Mhm.
He's like trying to be there for her.
Alexander Ludwig, who plays the love interest,
Yeah.
also has a wild filmography. He was the kid in Race to Witch Mountain, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He had a role in Hunger Games, and he was also in Final Girl, which was like a spy drama, like the same year that this movie came out.
He's also a main character in Vikings, and my boyfriend like instantly knew that. Like I said, oh, he's in Vikings, and he was like, oh, he's Bjorn. Like he knew. He was like, I knew it. I've seen him from somewhere.
That's funny.
Yeah.
He is big, tall, and handsome.
Yeah.
And
And
he
he's
has
nice.
2 dads.
Yeah, he's LGBT friend. He's like, he's cool.
Yeah. So they're doing a study session when her best friend's stepbrother
I think yeah.
stops by, and essentially, like, he's a mega nerd, and he pressures Max into attending a screening, a double feature of the Camp Bloodbath movies, which she has like actively avoided since her mom's death, pretty
Naturally.
understandably.
You know,
What did he say to like get her to like actually do it?
I don't remember. Oh, he says he'd like do all of her homework or something. They have to be in high school then, right?
Yeah.
They look
yeah,
so
okay.
old though. They look so
Mhm.
old. I don't know. Maybe it's probably just because they are older. Like their actors are probably older.
Right.
Like a classic,
right.
we cast these like 25-year-olds as teenagers.
Mhm. Which, do you want to hear another fun fact?
Yeah.
This movie is kind of rare in that, for the most part, it was filmed in sequential order,
Oh.
except for the very beginning of the movie. They filmed that last so that the actors had that time to like get to know each other and could actually like pretend to be friends.
That makes sense. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the girl who plays her best friend too. She's from Arrested Development.
Mm-hmm. She sounds very cool. In doing like some of the reading that I did for like the pre-production and stuff, I feel like this movie could have gone like a lot worse, and thankfully it was not. I think in large part because of its cast. So,
Nice.
do you want to hear some like scrapped ideas from this movie that
Yes.
they ended up changing?
Yes.
So, okay, this first one is pretty gross.
Oh no.
One of the plot points originally was that as they spent more time in the movie, the girls, their waist would shrink and their boobs would get bigger, and they
No.
would become less intelligent.
No. No.
So that they fit in with the ditzier characters, I guess.
That makes me angry. I'm glad they did not go with that.
It's so gross, and I don't want to know what kind of like weird special effects they would have had to
Yeah,
done.
that
to
would have been
do that.
awful.
Another thing that they ended up changing was some dialogue about a person that Gertie had slept with.
Oh, they do mention her sleeping with somebody who's autistic. But then
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, so what? Like, that's her response to it.
Yeah, so that I think initially they like leaned into that and went super edgy, and she was like, I'm kind of uncomfortable with that. Can we not?
Nice. I love her.
Yes.
I pulled up her Wikipedia page, and she's 33, so they definitely were not teenagers. That was being filmed.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why they don't look like teenagers.
Yes. So they're at this screening, this double feature for Camp Bloodbath, and then the theater catches on fire. They try to escape, and when they wake up, they are in the forest, and they have found themselves in the movie. They run into like some of the characters from the movie who like drive by in a van, and then they have a weird interaction, and they just kind of drive off, and then 92 minutes later, the van drives back because the movie is going in real time.
It's so funny.
Yeah, so the actual runtime of this movie is 92 minutes, and it is up to our characters to survive the 92 minutes of Camp Bloodbath. Yeah, initially they are just like, the other camp counselors think that our protagonists are also camp counselors, but really weird ones who didn't bring anything with them to camp and who are dressed very strangely.
Who are dressed very strangely, and they're very confused. I love the really ditzy one.
I can't believe you guys are counselors too. We've never had this many before. When the kids get here next week, they're gonna be so pumped.
Hey, where's your guys' suitcases? Because honestly, your clothes, they're disgusting.
Says the guy in the crop top.
What's up? Are you guys poor people? Are you guys poor?
We packed light.
Because they wait like twice, like 2 intervals of 92 minutes, I think.
Yeah, they do. I think, yeah.
First, they're like kind of passive and just like watching things play out until Max sees her mom and is like, oh, I wonder if I can save her, because that would be really shitty to watch my mom die again.
Yeah. She's like, don't sleep with that guy.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's so
yeah, because
funny.
that's like the main thing.
They're like, if you take your clothes off, you die.
Everybody who has sex in this movie beefs it.
It's so funny.
And they see Billy, who is their stand-in for Jason, who just like kind of stares at them like he doesn't know what to do with them because they're not written in the script.
Yeah.
People start dying pretty quickly, like almost as soon as they get into the van, I think, right? It's like there are 2 people who are making out in the woods.
It's like after they get there, there's like someone that goes into the woods, and then they're gonna like, it's like her. Oh yeah, it's her and a hiker. You're right. It's when they're in the car. It's like this girl and a hiker.
Yeah.
And they get murdered.
So then they go to the spot because Thomas Middleditch's character wants to see everything play out like it's some kind of cool VR movie. So he like runs to the next couple who gets murdered to get like a close-up view, and and they're initially like, oh, don't worry, he can't hurt us, like he's not going to do anything. And then he tries to take a selfie with Billy and gets stabbed.
Yeah, he gets big time stabbed.
Yeah.
I think I almost just pissed my pants.
You did piss your pants.
What? No, I didn't.
Does he die? I can't remember if he comes back later.
He comes back later and then dies again.
Okay.
But then he's actually fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he gets hit by the car.
Mm-hmm.
Which
That's
is also
right.
really funny. But they like come back from the wood.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just talking to everybody. That's where you get like the scene with like Adam Devine's character being homophobic and he gets punched.
And then there's a scene where Max tries to stop her mom's character, Nancy, not to have sex with Adam Devine as he's like standing in the room.
Yeah.
In like the smallest pair of underwear.
It's so gross.
And
Disgusting.
she's just like, he's so attractive. Like, how could I not have sex with him?
And then Max is like, no.
Please don't.
It's so funny. And the music, anytime somebody starts taking off their clothes, the like scary music starts playing.
Mm-hmm. And they have to like hurriedly cover them up.
Yeah. And I really like the story time when they go back in time. That is really cool.
Oh, yeah. Because they start talking about Billy, like in the context of his person in the movie. And so they do the flashback and everything goes grayscale. And I do like how they play around with like the motion graphics and like text on screen and stuff. And whenever there's a flashback, there's like gray ooze that like covers everything.
I love that. I thought that was so cute.
I like the part later on where she drags her mom into the flashback and then she's like, is that my voice? Why can I hear that? Like,
yeah, she's so confused.
Flashback! 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 What?
Just say the words!
What words? Billy Murphy was a kid who went to camp here years ago. Tell me the story again! Hurry! And he was picked on for being different, ugly.
Keep going, don't stop!
And once ever the hottest one on record, the kids decided to play a little prank on him.
Billy locked himself in the outhouse thinking he'd be safe, but he was wrong.
That's me. Oh, that's what I sound like.
I feel like I would be pretty confused too. Like,
oh yeah,
if reality just started to break like that.
You're like, what in the hell? Yeah, the middle of the movie is like pretty generic slasher, but it's also the people from the outside of the movie trying to stop it from happening and failing pretty horribly. And they're like, well, whenever the final girl shows up, we'll work with her and everything will work out. But they make the mistake of like being like, hey, by the way, you're not real, and like revealing everything. And so she dies.
Yeah, no. Gertie falls in love with one of the characters from the movie because they both like pins and I think roller skating.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cute.
That is cute.
They take the super... Can I call her a bimbo? Is that like... I don't know if that's like...
Who's a bimbo?
The blonde one.
Oh, the like really...
The one who wants to get naked all the time.
Yeah, you can call her a bimbo.
Okay.
It's like the opposite of himbo. Or originally, I guess himbo was the opposite of bimbo. Bimbo, in parentheses, endearing.
Yes. And they put her in a life jacket and oven mitts so that she can't strip.
It's so funny.
And she's not allowed to take drugs or anything.
But then they're waiting. They're like, you have to strip. Also, at some point, she takes like an entire bottle of Adderall.
Yeah. That part was also largely improv, I think.
Oh, no.
But yeah, they decide that they are going to, in order to survive, they're going to like expedite the process of getting Billy killed.
Yeah.
And so in order to lure him out, they have her do a striptease. I think while she's still wearing the mittens, like I think they literally just unzip the life jacket and put on music.
Yep. She had to like rip them off.
Except that she's like spaced out of her mind because of the Adderall. And then she like panics and their whole like trap house, like Scooby-Doo-esque trap house just goes terribly wrong and like everybody dies pretty much.
Yeah, everyone except for Max, the boy she has a crush on, and her mom.
Yeah. This movie is like kind of, I guess the gore isn't too bad even though it's PG-13.
Yeah.
Because like Tina fully gets like decapitated by a bear head.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal.
Yeah, people get like shot with bows and arrows and then crushed by bookcases. Chris gets stabbed with a machete, I think. Is that? Yeah, he uses the machete.
Yeah.
And is like, you two gotta get out of here. And so like determined to keep her mom alive for the chance of like potentially pulling her from the movie afterwards.
Yeah, she like, it's not healthy. She starts coping in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
She's just like, we can take the mom out of here and then show her the real world. And the boy she has a crush on is like, no.
Are you sure you want to do that? Like, we don't know what would happen because they start talking about like, oh, she could go to college and like she could be a movie star and like all this stuff that her mom wanted to do and like superimposing those wants and needs onto this person who's essentially like, I mean, other than looking like her mom, she's entirely different, I guess. Like there's some small things that Max is drawn to because it's familiar, but like it's her own person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's kind of like, Oh, I can't. That's a spoiler. It's kind of like a character in Final Fantasy 14, actually, though.
Oh, heck.
Very interesting.
Oh, heck. I'm not that far yet. I'm still on the free trial.
But you'll meet them eventually.
But yeah, they trigger another flashback scene in order to get to his like killer shack, I think, right? To use
Yeah, he's got like a little house.
to use Dead by Daylight terms.
Yeah, it's like killer shack. Take him to the basement.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of does.
I think Max gets stabbed trying to fight off Billy, and then she accidentally slips up and calls Nancy mom.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, I'm your mom," and she's gone, and they have a really sweet conversation
It's so nice.
where she's essentially like, "Oh, I know you would have been a great daughter, and even if like your mom, who I kind of am, is dead, like I know she would be proud of you and that she's still with you." And then they share their friendship bracelets, I think.
They do, yeah.
It's very cute. And then Nancy decides to accept her fate. She goes out into the field and starts singing the same song that the mom was singing at the beginning of the movie, and like she strips down and she gets murdered.
She does.
But the movie doesn't end yet because Billy still has to die and Max takes the role of the final girl.
Which is so cool. I love that. I love that they're like, you get over your trauma by being the final girl.
Mm-hmm. It's a much better version of this movie handled it better than Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's true. That's very true. That's like the same theme almost.
Yeah, essentially.
But done way better.
So they fight and she kills him and decapitates him. And then Chris, her now boyfriend, I guess, is not dead. And they do a little kiss as the credits like start flying on screen.
Kiss.
And it's very silly. And then they hang out till like the very end when like the production logos and stuff start and like the anti-piracy laws.
I like that. That's a cute little touch.
Mm-hmm. And I thought the movie was going to end right there, but then they wake up in a hospital. And you're like, oh, I guess they survived the movie theater burning down. We didn't talk about that much, but that is also done in like this really cool slow motion shot. And like, I guess the implication is that everybody in that theater fucking dies because it is.
Yeah, what the heck? Like, it is on fire. Like, it is. They are not making it out of there.
Yeah. But all of her friends are alive and they're chatting and they're happy to have survived their encounter. And then they hear the music from Camp Bloodbath because they have landed in the sequel.
In the sequel.
Which, like Halloween 2, takes place inside of a hospital.
Yep. I wonder if it's like implying that they did die in the fire. It's just they're dead.
Oh, I don't know.
Now they're like stuck in the movies.
Huh.
I just thought of that just now. Because it's like, I wonder if they just like were passed out from smoke inhalation. They're like hallucinating this.
Maybe. Because it seemed like they would have been the only ones to get out because they like cut through the screen and like tried to leave the theater while everybody else was like panicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very soft door for them to like potentially do a sequel, but I don't know if they ever had like any intention of actually doing it.
Yeah, or if it was just like a fun, like, they're in the sequel now.
Right. Okay, so they were thinking about doing one which would have introduced Max's father.
Oh.
So he said it would depend on how well the movie did and how profitable it would be. And I don't think there's
I guess not very.
I guess there's
how well was it received? Like, what's the Rotten Tomatoes on this? Let me see.
It has a 74%.
That's not bad.
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of what's that one? Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I really enjoy that one. This one, I feel like it definitely took me a little bit to warm up to it.
Yeah.
Because it felt so like formulaic at the beginning.
It really does. And like, Like I said, whenever I first sat down to watch it, it was like it was very much a planned, like, let's watch a bad movie night. And then it ended up being like, not a bad movie.
Yeah.
And I try to always suggest it to people. I'm like, no, it's not bad. I swear it's not bad. But it's pretty short. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's only an hour and a half long, so, like, we breezed through it pretty quickly.
If you, like, don't want to commit to something super serious and just kind of, like, lighthearted, but you don't want to watch teens have sex like me, then this is definitely for you.
For sure. I think it very much is the product of, like, edgy white cishet men putting together comedy.
Yeah.
That, like, got saved by its cast, for sure.
Goodness. Thank goodness. Because, like, it could have been so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they had only taken the advice of, like, Thomas Middleditch. Oh, God. Oh, no. It would have just been so bad.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I highly suggest it for a fun camp-themed movie. It's probably, like, one of the only camp-themed movies that I enjoy. I still haven't watched the Fear Street camp one, though, so that might end up there. I need to watch it. Nisno really wanted to watch it, and I was like, camp. Like, we don't want to.
So I found the she did not actually take Adderall to do her fun dance scene. She just slammed energy drinks, apparently.
Oh no, that's still bad. Don't do that.
That's so funny. Oh, and then there's, like, a very fun blooper reel thing.
Yeah, I wish more movies had blooper reels at the end of them. I love them. I'm a sucker for blooper reels. I love watching people mess up their lines and then everybody laugh. Never fails.
I wonder how much of Adam Devine's character, like, how many of his lines were actually scripted and how much of it was just, like, them turning on the camera and being like, okay, here's your goal. Go ahead.
I feel like that's what they did.
A lot of the bloopers are just, like, him, like, I don't even know what, like, him just going wild.
There's so many of him in the car with his now wife. Just saying ridiculous stuff to try and get her to have sex with him, and she's like losing it. Like she's like trying to be serious, but she can't.
I do like seeing characters or actors break. Like that's
Me
always
too.
one of my favorite
It's so
things.
funny. It's so funny. I just love blooper reels. I need more horror movies with blooper reels because that's like very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because I imagine filming horror, you're not like scared all the time, obviously. So I'm sure there's like really funny bloopers of people in costume. Where are they? Please deliver them. Like, can you imagine like a Guillermo del Toro monster film or something, and like somebody's in their full like monster gear?
Doug
I think
Jones.
there's one. Wasn't it Skarsgård as Pennywise? He can like actually do that thing with his eyes or whatever. He actually scared one of the kids. It's so funny.
Yeah, the behind the scenes for it are very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, another fun fact that I forgot to mention. Nancy's character got her name from Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, nice.
Because everything is
they kind
like
of pulled from
reference.
Yeah. I love movies with references. I think this one does it well and Scream does it well, obviously. I love Scream.
Yeah, I don't know if I have like too much more to add.
No, I mean, it's just good fun. Good fun.
Yeah.
We haven't done like a let's dissect this intense horror movie in a while. Maybe we could do that with Nope.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm looking up some like additional trivia points.
Oh.
They changed the ending of it. So the original ending featured Max and Chris waking up in the hospital as the only survivors, but it was too much of a downer. So they wrote a new ending where the friends survived too.
Aw.
But then both endings were received poorly, so they did a mishmash of both versions. Huh. Oh, and then it's revealed that Kurt's character, Adam Devine's character, survived his car crash. All his limbs are like broken, and They brought him back because the studio liked his character, so he's alive for the sequel.
That's so funny. His character was the worst, but it was funny. But I was like, shut up. He was definitely very good at playing like 1980s jock. That's just awful.
I think that's the only thing that he plays, and like he's okay with that.
Yeah, very typecast. It's because of his face. I'm telling you, got a punchable face.
I think that's it. It's a pretty basic. It's a pretty basic one.
Yeah, going to camp, kumbaya, murders, but it's got a cool little twist. I like movies with a little twist.
No kids in this one.
Yeah, just
I guess
teens.
because it's like before the campers are supposed to show up, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You don't have to see kids. That's how the quarry is too.
I still need to play that.
Yeah. Another camp horror thing. Camp horror is like, why is it such a big genre? Are camps like naturally creepy? I've never been to a summer camp.
I don't know if they're naturally creepy, but I guess the idea is just like if you are staying in the woods, it is scary. Because like even when I worked at a camp, right, there were, and it was like a Jesus camp that I worked at.
Oh no.
You had camp counselors who were like, oh yeah, there's like part of the campgrounds where cultists used to like show up and perform rituals and sacrifice animals.
What the heck? At church camp?
Yeah, like before it was a church camp. And sometimes you can still hear people sneaking onto the campgrounds. It's like that's not a thing that happens. I don't know why camp horror is so. You know what I bet it is? Because it's cheap.
Oh yeah, that's true. Very easy
if you don't
setting.
if you don't have to build sets and you don't need a whole lot of lighting,
Just some trees,
that's like a good way to do it. Mm-hmm.
some cabins. Yeah, that makes sense. And there's campsites everywhere. So, I just used an existing campsite. Plus, I think the woods are just creepy. Like, what kind of scary man could be in those woods? I don't know. I don't go outside that much. Oh, I went to a camp once as a kid with the Girl Scouts, actually. It was like a cabin camp. Yeah.
Oh.
Now that I remember.
Fun?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember like particularly enjoying it. I'm just not an outdoorsy person.
Mm-hmm.
I love animals, but I don't want the sun to be near me.
You're good staying in the train car.
Yes, I love the train car.
It's so nice.
I get so many compliments on my Texas Chainsaw shirt when I wear it to work. Like, so
Do
many.
you really?
I met this guy. Okay, we can keep this in the podcast because it's funny.
Yeah.
This guy came into the store and he saw my shirt and he's like, I like your shirt. And I was like, thanks. You can go to Kingsland, Texas and you can stay there and eat at the place. And he was like, that's so bizarre. And I was like, I guess. And he was like, no. And he was like, you're the third person in like a week to tell me about that place. And his nephew straight up had his birthday party there. He was like, he was like, I guess I need to go. I was so like, funny. You should. And he was like, that's so weird. But I thought that was really cool. I've just been spreading the word. I'm like, you should go there. To like
That's
everybody.
So neat. I would love to go back.
I want to go back so bad. Now that I'm like in better health, because I was not well when I went. Like that was like right before I was in the hospital. So I'd like to go back now that I am much better.
I forget. I don't know. I can't remember if this is a conversation that you and I had or if it was one I had with somebody else, but I think it would be really cool if you did a wedding at the Texas, like in front of that restaurant, right? Because it's a very nice area.
That would be nice.
And then you get to the part where they're like, does anybody have good reason why these two should not be married? Oh, no. And then someone just dressed as Leatherface like comes out of the house.
That would be cool. That'd be so cool. And you can invite all the Corvette people. No, I'm just
Or you could have Leatherface officiate your wedding.
Oh my god, yes. Have him make an entrance by coming out with the chainsaw. And then he just like grunts the things he has to say.
Can you rev the chainsaw to Here Comes the Bride?
I was about to try and make that sound with my mouth, and then I stopped myself. I was like, you know what? I don't know what a chainsaw sounds like now that I think about it. It's like, no, it's not it. Oh, man.
Let's see. Is there anything that we could just talk a little bit about? Because I went to Canada, so it's been a couple weeks since we recorded. I watched all of the Resident Evil series.
How was it?
You know?
Oh,
it's a TV show.
I've heard it's bad, and I told someone it was bad, so I hope I was not wrong.
It's very campy and silly and nonsensical.
Is Leon in it?
No, he is not.
Then I don't care. No, I'm just kidding.
There's been a lot of Resident Evil news lately.
Mm-hmm.
We got the additional DLC pack coming out for Dead by Daylight.
True.
There's the Resident Evil Village DLC, which looks rad.
There's the Resident Evil Humble Bundle thing.
Yeah. So I am thriving over here and also crying because I don't have the money to buy all of these things.
Yeah.
But also there's a lot of I feel like there's been a lot of horror news.
Oh my God, there's been so much horror news. I am living. I was literally talking to news the other day and I was like, I am eating well. There's just so much coming out.
We got confirmation of another Scream movie.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately Halloween.
Yeah, we got three Guillermo del Toro projects coming out relatively soon.
So happy for him. Yeah, Pinocchio, Cabinet of Curiosities. What's the other one?
It'll come to me. I will think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot remember now off the top of my head.
I'm sure it will be good.
Yes. Actually, can I don't think I've had the opportunity to talk about this yet. I did on stream and you missed it because I think you were working.
Probably.
No, we talked about it very briefly because I was under the false impression that the next Halloween movie takes place directly after Halloween Kills.
Oh, yeah.
It does not. Because that would be too much. The man kills 50 people over the span of 2 movies. And that take place in the same day / night. So that would be a lot. No, the next Halloween movie does an anime time skip of 4 years.
Oh my God. What's he been doing for 4 years? Oh, wait, we talked about this.
Yes.
He is quarantined.
Yes. So there's a 4-year gap between these 2 movies. Some things that happened between the 4-year gap. The COVID-19 pandemic happens in the Halloween universe. As do what I think, what is his name? David Allen Green or whatever. Some funky politics, I think is what he calls it.
Oh my God, please. No.
So Michael Myers was definitely around during the, failed January 6th coup and during COVID-19 and just was like, you know what? They're all going through a lot. I'm going to take a step back and just vibe for a couple years until we can return to normal.
The last thing we saw of him, he's like, or they're talking about how he's evil incarnate now and can't die. And all these evil things are happening. And he's like, that's too evil. But what? No. It's going to come out that he was at the insurrection or whatever.
Oh, no.
Michael Myers in the background.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
That movie's gonna be such a fucking shit show.
It's gonna be so bad. I forgot. I think me and you were talking about how bad it's gonna be. At the same time, someone messaged me and was like, I'm so excited. And I felt so bad because I didn't have anything nice to say. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh boy.
It's gonna be bad. But in better news, we've got Cabinet of Curiosities. We got Nope is still in theaters.
Yeah,
we're finally seeing
gonna
that.
Go see that one.
Maybe we could talk about that because I've heard there's a lot to talk about.
That would be fun. There's going to be a new Evil Dead movie. They can't decide if it's going to go to theaters or if it'll just be a straight HBO Max release, I think.
I need to watch all the other Evil Dead stuff still. Wendell and Wild is coming out in October.
There's
That's the Jordan Peele stop motion project, and I'm very excited for that. Very excited.
Mm-hmm. I'm all caught up on What We Do in the Shadows.
I'm not, but I love that show. I need to catch up. I love What We Do in the Shadows.
It's so good.
It's so funny. Nadia is like who I aspire to be. I want to be like Nadia. She's so great.
Let's see if I just search Guillermo del Toro upcoming stories.
I'm sad that he's not on the Haunted Mansion project, so I'm kind of skeptical of it now.
It says, wait, when did he drop out?
I just think it's not his script at all. Like, I think they're just doing something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I see a June 3rd article that says at that time he was a co-writer and producer of Haunted Mansion.
Oh, maybe he is then.
Oh,
Just
and
kidding.
they're working on Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark too.
Oh, yeah. I loved Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
That would be a fun one to cover.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good intro to horror, I feel like.
For sure.
Film. Like if someone's like, I've never watched horror, I don't know what to watch. Don't tell them Hereditary or some shit. You know? Tell them what Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Monster House, you know? Coraline. Like, I don't know. There's people who are just like, oh, you could watch The Witch. Don't do that to people.
The
The Witch. Sometimes goats are just hot men in disguise. That's my entire summary of The Witch.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff. Either already out or coming out very soon, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it.
We have so much to talk about. I also want to talk about, I don't know, should I reveal what I want to talk about? Sure, I don't mind. The next animated movie I want to talk about is not technically a horror according to its genre, but it's called The House, and it's on Netflix, and I really want to talk about it because the second part is very disturbing.
I thought about watching Mad God, that stop motion movie that took like 20 years to produce, because I've heard it is very trippy and weird, but I don't know if it would necessarily be like something for us to cover.
Talk about, like, if it's horror enough.
Well, it's on Shudder, but it's just like so.
Oh, that'd be like covering La Casa Lobo. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's so acid trippy that I just would not even know where to start. This was a very simple plot of a movie, and I feel like I tripped over myself a couple times, so I don't know if maybe let me warm up to like the broader themes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think you sent this to me.
Yeah. It looks very interesting.
It says, like, I'd be down to watch this sometime. But yeah, I don't know about covering it. The characters look really cool. I like the main character. I love a masked character, though. A masked stop motion character. Yeah. We'll have to watch that sometime. Shout outs to stop motion making a comeback. Thank God.
Heck yeah.
I've missed stop motion. Like, the last big stop motion film I can think about is, like, Coraline.
Right.
Like, there hasn't been one. Well, I mean, The House now, but, like, now we're seeing, like, that, Wendell Wild, Mad God. There's a Brazilian stop motion film that came out recently.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, stop motion. This is now a stop motion and puppet podcast segment. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I just talk about creepy dolls for an hour.
I'm out of here. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank y'all. I can't wait to record more.
Yeah, and thank you for listening to our wild tangent here at the very end.
I love the wild tangents.
There's just a lot to talk about.
There's so much. We love horror. Yay!
Yay! So we'll see y'all in the next one.
Bye!
Bye! You have been listening to Monster Masquerade. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to let us know somewhere on the internet and consider sharing the show with a friend. If you have a suggestion or topic you'd like to see us discuss, hop on over to our Patreon to unlock exclusive bonus content and do just that. And we'd super appreciate it if you could leave us a review on iTunes. It's the fastest way to help the show grow. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts. Press F to pay your respects for Final Girls.